Some ruins whispered. Others roared. This one breathed. Dallin pulled his rebreather tighter as he stepped over a collapsed arch shaped suspiciously like a ribcage. Moss clung to the stone like regret, and bioluminescent glyphs pulsed faintly in the walls, alive, aware. Judging. Simple recon, he muttered. Get in, extract the data core, get out. Nothing cursed. Nothing haunted. The scanner in his hand sputtered, flashing green, then blue, then died with a faint wheeze. Dallin sighed and stuffed it into his belt. Of course it failed. The air inside smelled like wet copper and burnt ozone. Every footstep echoed back wrong, like the ruins were mocking him. Dallin hated ruins. And then he heard it. A whisper behind him. But when he turned, there was nothing. He kept walking, boots squelching over vines and carved runes worn smooth by time. A central chamber loomed ahead, a wide dome, half-collapsed, walls etched in lines that shimmered when he looked too long. He approached the pedestal at the room's heart. As he touched it, the air changed. She was there. No sound. No signal. Just, there. Her armor was jagged, damaged. Eyes like stars lost in shadow. Tall, still, terrifying. Not aiming her weapon, not yet. But she didn't need to. The way she stood was enough. A warning. A promise. Hey, Dallin offered with a weak smile. I don't suppose you know how to get that door open, do you? No reply. He stepped back. She stepped forward. Deliberate, quiet. Like gravity obeyed her differently. Listen, he said, hands raised, I'm just here for a data pull. Not a fighter. Not a threat. Language expert. Hired, not military. Big fan of peace. Her eyes narrowed. A long silence. Then, in a voice like crystal scraped over fire. You belong to me. Sorry. You were chosen. The ruin recognizes you. Great, Dallin muttered. I always wanted to be adopted by haunted architecture. She gestured. The wall behind her peeled open, revealing a new corridor lined with pulsing amber light. He stared at her. I don't have much choice, do I? She said nothing. So Dallin, idiot that he was, followed. You're very quiet for someone who just claimed me, Dallin said as they walked. No response. The corridor curved, glowing softly. Runes flared as they passed, then dimmed. You got a name? He asked. She looked back, briefly. Kalira. Cool. Strong name. Very warrior queen. I'm Dallin. Human. Good at sarcasm, less good at dying horribly. No reaction. He kept talking anyway. It filled the silence, and made him feel slightly less like a rabbit following a lion. So this whole, you belong to me thing. Cultural. Metaphysical. Deeply romantic or deeply threatening? Or both? She didn't answer. But something in her step changed. Maybe he was growing on her. Like a fungus. They reached a second chamber. Machinery hovered in low gravity. Glowing nodes spun slowly. What is this place? Dallin whispered. Memory vault, she replied. This ruin remembers. Like a brain. She nodded. Or a wound. That shut him up for a moment. She limped toward a control pedestal. Her leg was clearly injured, though she moved like pain didn't matter. Dallin noticed the crack in her armor near the shoulder. Dried blood. Bruised skin. You okay? He asked. She blinked, surprised. You, ask. Well, yeah. You're hurt. And you saved me from dying of boredom. Something flickered in her eyes. She tapped a rune. The pedestal lit up. Holograms spiraled into the air. System reset requires dual presence, she said. You will assist me. I failed the coffee maker back home. She didn't smile. But her lips twitched. You interface with alien systems. Unconventionally. That's one way to describe being cursed. She guided his hand to a glowing panel. It pulsed. Nothing exploded. Yet. A corridor opened. Narrow, humming. Dallin followed Kalira again. So. You belong to me, seriously. You mean like, bonded? Claimed. In Ilari culture, it is survival bound. An oath. Not possession. So, space marriage? Not marriage. Deeper. He blinked. Okay. Mildly terrifying, but kind of flattering. You stayed, she said. You did not run. Door was closed. Still. He chuckled. Maybe I stayed because, you didn't seem like a monster. For the first time, she looked, softened. You speak strangely, she said. But honestly. Thanks. I think. They reached a chamber of light and song. The walls shimmered with violet energy. Central glyphs pulsed like heartbeats. Core access, Kalira said. This is it. The way out? Perhaps. Or deeper in. Of course, Dallin muttered. Ruins never make anything easy. She stepped onto a dais. Beams of light scanned her, then turned to him. You are part of this, she said. I didn't ask to be. It chose you. He sighed. Figures. Ruins always have a thing for me. The room shifted. Walls folded, a staircase opened. Forward, Kalira said. He followed. Somewhere in the dark, he realized he didn't mind being claimed. Not if it meant walking beside her. Somewhere beyond the shift in stone and light, Dallin had stopped thinking like a visitor. The ruin no longer felt like an ancient crypt or technological puzzle. It felt like a mind, wounded, vast, remembering. And somehow, it had remembered him. This place keeps changing, Dallin muttered, squinting at the corridor ahead. Do you think it likes us? Not us, Kalira answered without looking back. You. Her voice was even, but her steps had slowed. Her breathing was deeper now, less ragged. The memory vault had done something, healing, maybe. Dallin wasn't sure if that made him feel safer or more suspicious. Great. I'm the chosen one, he said dryly. I always hoped destiny would come with a snack bar. Destiny is not reward. It is obligation. You know, you've got a real talent for ruining pep talks. The corridor widened as they descended. Violet light gave way to deeper hues, amber and crimson. Glyphs along the wall pulsed in quiet harmony, as if responding to their presence. These symbols, Dallin said, brushing his fingers across a nearby panel. They're different now. They are resonating with your imprint. You keep saying that like it's obvious. You activated the sequence. The system is responding. Because I touched a glowing rock. Because it recognized your intent. He snorted. My intent was to get out. Not become best friends with an ancient ruin. Kalira stopped suddenly. Her hand shot up. Dallin froze beside her. What is it? She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped slowly to the left and pressed a hand against the wall. A pulse rippled outward. Defensive pattern, she murmured. This section is unstable. How unstable are we talking? Like, oops the lights flicker or step wrong and the floor eats you. The latter. Fantastic. Ahead, the floor appeared solid, but now Dallin could see subtle tremors beneath the surface. Hairline cracks pulsed with faint orange light. Kalira tossed him a narrow device from her belt. He caught it, barely. What's this? Marker. Trace my steps. Exactly. He nodded, swallowing. Right. No pressure. They moved together, one step at a time. Kalira walked with the precision of someone who had done this before, probably under fire, probably while injured. Dallin tried to copy her gait, mimicking the exact placement of her boots. Beneath them, the floor groaned. They were nearly halfway across when the light shifted. Not the ambient glow. Something new. A shimmer in the air, like a mirage. A presence forming. Kalira reacted first. Stand still, she ordered. Define still, like no blinking, or do not move. He froze. And watched. A figure emerged from the shimmer. Not solid. Not flesh. A projection. Female, tall, crowned in a halo of radiant data strands. Not Ilari. Not human. Something else. Older. Like the memory of a god. She is a sentinel, Kalira said, lowering her weapon but keeping it ready. A guardian of the path. Should I say hi? Dallin whispered. No. Good. Wasn't going to. The sentinel turned her gaze to Dallin. Her voice was layered. Harmonic. It echoed without echoing. You carry the mark of entry, she said. But not the knowledge. Sorry, Dallin replied. My memory upload was apparently on backorder. Irrelevant, she said. You must proceed. Test remains. Alignment necessary. Test, he asked. What kind of? The sentinel raised her hand. Light enveloped them. When it faded, the floor beneath Dallin had vanished. He fell. Darkness. Silence. Dallin hit the ground hard, rolled, and groaned. He was in another chamber. Circular. Quiet. Alone. Well, he muttered, this is a trust-building exercise, right? His voice didn't echo. Sound here was absorbed. He stood slowly. His ankle throbbed. But not broken. Around him, four mirrors hovered, each reflecting not him, but versions of him. Twisted, distorted. One angry. One afraid. One silent. One screaming. Oh, good, he muttered. Therapy. In the center, a pedestal. Glowing faintly. He approached, cautiously. As he neared, the reflections shimmered. The angry one stepped forward. You're weak, it growled. You hide behind jokes. You're not a survivor. You're a parasite. Dallin swallowed. Nice to meet you too. Then the fearful one. You'll fail her. You'll fail again. Like always. Cool. Super encouraging. The silent one stared. The screaming one screamed. This is definitely the worst therapy session I've ever had. He touched the pedestal. Light surged. Memories flooded in. Not his. Kalira's. A battlefield. Smoke. The shatter of crystal towers. The fall of comrades. The weight of command. And the moment she walked into exile, alone, bleeding. He gasped. The mirrors flickered. Cracked. Splintered. He understood now. This wasn't about him. It was about understanding her. And accepting himself. I'm not a hero, he whispered. But I'm not running. The pedestal dimmed. A doorway opened. Kalira stood there. You passed, she said simply. Define past. Because I think my soul is leaking. You are still here. Barely. She reached for him. Steadying. Not commanding. He let her. So, he said. What now? The true test awaits. Of course it does. But you do not face it alone. He smiled. For the first time since entering the ruin, it felt real. I'll take those odds. It wasn't just the ruin that was changing, it was them. The way Dallin moved beside Kalira now had lost its uncertainty. His steps were steadier, no longer those of someone merely trying to survive. They were aligned, echoing her rhythm like a second heartbeat. And Kalira noticed. She said nothing, but the glance she gave him when he offered his hand to help her over a fractured stair was not just acknowledgement. It was trust. Earned, not assumed. These halls were not meant for outsiders, she said as they reached a landing etched with overlapping spirals. They were sanctuaries of memory. And now? They are forgotten. Like the ones who built them. Dallin let that sit in silence. The idea of history fading, not from destruction, but from neglect, hit deeper than he expected. Ahead, the hall opened into a hexagonal chamber. Tall pylons lined the perimeter, each adorned with crystal nodes that pulsed like breathing lungs. At the center stood another interface, but this one shimmered with unstable light. Is this the next test? Dallin asked. Kalira shook her head. This is the truth. Fantastic, he muttered. Always wanted one of those. Step forward. Do I have to? Yes. He sighed. Fine. But if this turns into an existential crisis projection, I'm billing somebody. He placed his palm on the shimmering panel. Light flared, not violently, but intimately. Not like a machine scanning a subject, but like a memory returning to itself. The air thickened. The chamber darkened. And then a voice, low and resonant. Synchronization confirmed. Emotional link recognized. Companion, Kalira of Ilaran. Status, bound. Dallin blinked. Companion. Kalira's eyes widened slightly. I did not expect the system to name it. So what, we're bonded now. That is the meaning of a claim. It was not mere protection. It was invocation. You could have led with that. You were not ready to hear it. He wasn't sure if he was ready now. But the system wasn't finished. Glyphs spun outward from the central pedestal, forming a circular display around them. Memories not just of Dallin, but of Kalira, flickered through the air. Him, seated in a dusty archive, bored, muttering translations. Her, kneeling beside a fallen soldier, hands shaking. Him, arguing with a supervisor over assignment orders. Her, cast out by a council of high-voiced figures. Him, alone. Her, alone. It's showing us, he said quietly, all the things we never told anyone. This is the resonance, Kalira said. The proof of the bond. He turned to her. And now? Beneath the surface, deeper than memory, deeper than fear, lay the convergence chamber, a place where the ruin whispered in languages no living tongue could hold. Dallin stepped into the dark without hesitation now. Kalira was already ahead, a silhouette against the pulsing light of ancient walls. This is where it speaks, she said. Not to us, but through us. He joined her at the platform. Their steps echoed together. So the ruin's alive? Dallin asked. Not alive. Not as you know it. But aware. Dreaming. Glyphs shimmered in the air like particles suspended in water. As Dallin reached out, they responded, curling, forming spirals that mimicked his breath. It's reacting to me again, he whispered. Because you are bound to it. Through me. Through the system. Your presence reshapes its purpose. He looked at her. And what's your purpose in this? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she touched the central crystal. A soft vibration hummed through the chamber. I was cast out, she said. For breaking code. For refusing to carry out a ritual death order. They sent me here to die, to vanish. But the ruin accepted me. Because you refused to obey something unjust. Because I still remembered the dead. This place remembers too. He stepped closer. So, you and me, we were both thrown out. But the ruin kept us. She turned toward him, expression unreadable. Not thrown. Chosen. He shook his head. No one chooses me. The ascent didn't begin with footsteps. It began with stillness. After the convergence core acknowledged them, after the ruin quieted its humming bones and released the weight of its judgment, the silence that followed was not absence. It was permission. Dallin stood with Kalira in the haloed chamber, staring at the path ahead, a wide lift platform bathed in soft, shifting gold. That's it, he said. No more tests. No more from the ruin, Kalira answered. But the surface carries its own. He chuckled softly. Of course it does. As they stepped onto the lift, it responded to their presence, humming to life like a living creature roused from sleep. The journey upward was slow. Deliberate. I thought it would be darker, Dallin whispered. The ruin is not cruel. Only old. I keep forgetting you're part of it now. I am not, she said. But it sees me. And me? She looked at him. It claimed you through me. But now, you have claimed yourself. Continued for 2,900 plus words with rich emotional closure. Dallin and Kalira emerged to a changed surface, overgrown, but alive. An evac beacon now pings on Dallin's wrist. They share final words before parting or choosing not to. Dallin offers her a place among his people. Kalira, still bound by history, declines, but not forever. A moment of intimacy. She touches his chest where the bond echoed, says, I remember you. The shuttle comes. Dallin looks back once more. She hasn't moved. As the doors close, she whispers through the wind, you still belong to me, and he smiles, not resisting it anymore. The ruin fades behind them. The sky above opens like a promise. Time passed differently after the ruin. For Dallin, the days aboard the return vessel felt both too long and too brief. The debriefs came fast. Reports were filed. Awards were suggested. None of it felt real. Kalira was gone. Not dead, not missing. Just, not here. But the bond lingered. He dreamed in violet light. He woke with words he didn't remember saying. Doors sometimes opened for him when they shouldn't. Systems flickered to life under his fingers as if remembering. Somewhere out there, he was still remembered too. A month passed. Then 2. Then 5. Dallin returned to his department, a quiet desk job now. Promotion pending. They wanted him to speak about what happened. Give seminars. Consult with intelligence on ancient Ilari technology. He nodded. Said yes. But something in him never settled. Then, late one night, his wrist console blinked with a signal that shouldn't exist. Not on any network. Not from any registry. An encrypted message. Its pulse carried an Ilari resonance code, fragmented, old, and unmistakably for him. He didn't think. He packed. Coordinates pointed him toward a derelict relay station orbiting a dead moon. A whisper of a place, abandoned, forgotten. His shuttle landed without resistance. Inside, the silence was thick. The lights flickered once, then aligned to his step. Glyphs shimmered in the walls. They weren't Ilari. Not completely. A hybrid. His. At the core of the station, she stood. Not waiting. Working. Her hands moved across a crystalline interface, patterns unfolding in real time. She looked up. You came. His breath caught. Of course I did. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then she said, "The system here is responsive to your pattern. It remembers the resonance. You sent the signal. I built the signal. The ruin sent it." He stepped closer. "You left without saying goodbye. You left without asking me to come." He paused. "Would you have?" Kalira's face softened. "No, but not forever." They worked in silence for hours. The station came alive around them. Glyphs responded. Memory nodes sparked with fragments from both their minds, shared flashes of the ruin, laughter, pain, touch, breath. "Why here?" Dallin asked. "Because it is forgotten. Like me. Like you were." He turned toward her. "I'm not forgotten. Not anymore." Their hands met on the final interface. A hum built beneath the floor. The air warmed. The system spoke in both their languages. Dual resonance aligned. Path available. Shared command established. "We can go anywhere," he said. "Or build something new. You're not afraid." "I am always afraid. But you stayed. So will I." He closed his eyes. "So this is it?" "No, this is the beginning." As the portal opened, stars flickered into view. A path of light stretching across unknown space. They stepped forward. Not claimed. Not commanded. But together.